What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerd Castle. Today in the world of indie games, it's been about a year since we checked in on Space Haven, and it's had a couple alpha rollouts since then. The last time we checked in on this game, it was very, very primitive, but you could see the promise there. This is obviously a game that's being made by a team that has like a very, very strong core fundamental understanding of like pixel art and what things should look like in order to make them satisfying. And that loaded on top of kind of a RimWorld style game where you also open world fly around in your own customizable ship that you've built from the refuse of everything else that you've found is really, really cool. Like, that's one of those things that ends up being super rad. So anyways, we're going to dive on in today. We're going to take a look at it for about 25 to 30 minutes, as I tend to do. And we're going to decide if this is something you wanted to add to your wish list or otherwise pass on. Let's dive straight on in. Down inside that description, you'll also find a link to my Twitch stream, where I will more than likely stream this game as it gets closer towards like its release. And then on top of that, you can also find my Discord, which is kind of the central location for my entire community, and I'd love to have you. We're going to go with the abandoned mining station start, because this is new. I've never seen this before. This one right here gives you a basic ship and all the things you need to get started and kind of walks you through tip by tip, bit by bit. I don't really need that because, like, I know how to play the game. I know how to organize things. If you've played RimWorld, this game will make sense to you very, very quickly. It's not going to be hard to pick up, but I do recommend that you play the tutorial. It's about 45 minutes long to an hour, depending on what speed setting you play on, but it will get you very, very well situated as to how the whole game functions, so I do recommend it if you've never seen it before. We've got to decide what our game is going to be called. We're going to call this the NCS Tomboy. That sounds good. That's a sick-ass name for a ship right there. All right, so let's go ahead and dive straight on in. We're going to put this on medium difficulty. This is going to be all of the things that we have started with right here. I have no idea what's going to happen on the mining platform, so I assume there's going to be some level of difficulty that we're really going to have to set ourselves to in order to get going, but we'll see. Here is our crew. We've started out with 6 of them, actually. If you start out on the tutorial, you only get 4. You can customize these guys from their names down to the colors of their clothing. I love the XCOM-style representation of all of the characters. There is combat in this game. You can board derelicts and, like, space hulks and, like, fight your way through space bugs and, like, tyrannids and stuff like that. There's lots of kind of, like, they're in the walls, man! You know, you shooting big chunks of corridors apart with your overpowered space weapons. But let's take a look and see what we have here. We have a material mover. Okay, so that was their job before. They have Spacefarer, which says they're immune to wearing a spacesuit, and also immune to, love space and exploration. Okay, so they don't get spacesuit fatigue. That's super, super cool, because there's a limit on how long people can wear an exosuit, basically, and they get kind of bummed out if they hit that. We've also got a blacksmith over here. Blacksmiths are all about construction and industry and stuff like that, so that looks good. We've got an airline pilot over here, so I assume that means somebody in this group is going to be really, really good at piloting. Yes, that does appear to be the case, so that's good. We've got an engineer. This is somebody that's good at construction, and they're good at gunning and shielding systems and stuff like that. And they can also function as kind of like a backup pilot, just in case we need that. We have a chemical engineer over here. It looks like she's good at just about everything having to do with research and navigation and stuff like that. And then we have a doctor on board. I'm going to suggest that we have somebody be good at combat. Like, I think that gunner is your general combattery skill. And it looks like, actually, it looks like our engineer is also our best warrior, too. Does anybody else have any skills in kind of like fighting, or is it pretty much only our engineer? Okay, well, we've got a reasonably well-rounded team right now. Like, we've got something that can do, we got somebody that can do just about everything. Since this person is the medic, I'd like for them to kind of be like in white. So we'll have them be in white. We got to decide what color our pantaloons are going to be here. I'll probably go with, I've kind of gone with a little bit of like a Starfleet-inspired layout for my character. So they've all got the black pants on, and I've given them a shirt based on like what it is they're going to do. So if they're focused more on like engineering and sort of just like, I guess, operations, I've got them in yellow. If they're based around like science and like medical technology, they've got blue. And then if they're going to be our warriors, they're in red. And that's just for me visually to be able to kind of pay attention to people and figure out what it is that they do a little bit more effectively. I assume that we've got somebody that's okay at mining, right? Oh, we have nobody that's okay at mining. Well, we've got level 1 space mining, so I think we'll be okay. The crew of the NCS Tomboy has been selected. Let's dive on in and see what this scenario has in store for us. Oh my good sweet lord, a baby Ajibus. Okay, so we have a location and everything is busted. Oh, good, it's coming online. I thought they were going to make me set up the entire power grid. I was going to be like, oof, this is going to get a little... All right, listen, you're all going to have to bear with me, but this is going to get a little bit messy if I've got to connect all these connections over here. All right, so Spacefarer, welcome to Space Haven. Follow the upcoming blue objective notifications to guide you. Oh, okay, so they're going to still give me kind of like a guide to do all this stuff. The game is paused. It looks like we've actually got like medical beds over here. It looks like we have a crew section. All of our guys are inside spacesuits right now. As we get the atmosphere restored, I think it'll be okay. They're going to take the spacesuits off, but we're waiting for the oxygen regulators and we're waiting for the temperature regulators to kick on in. And until they do that, they're not really going to do a whole lot over here. All right, so in our initial starting spot, let's take a look at our facilities out here. It looks like we've got power nodes and everything. The mining station is only going to supply your crew members for a little while, so start building a spaceship. You can build the new ship hull little by little, but you don't have to design it outright. Use the hull build tool in the build menu and paint hull tiles on the new ship hull canvas found next to the mining station. Okay, so where's that at? Let's go ahead and take a look here. If we wanted to get our hull done, we kind of want to build a hull out here. Oh, this is our little starting spot for our spaceship hull. Okay. How many hull blocks do I have? We got 44 hull blocks for right now. Okay. It looks like we've also got the aphelium. Actually, let's take a look around this little area. So we've got our mining base right here. That's good. Over here on this side, it looks like we've got a derelict ship that we have not explored yet. Over on this side, it looks like we've got some, it looks like noble metals. Those are the metals that got a promotion from the king before he died off. We've got base metals, we've got energium, we've got carbon, and we've got hyperium. The energium is going to be for generating electricity on our ship and inside of our mining base. The hyperium right here is going to be, I think, warp fuel. And then the ice is obviously for water and farming. The noble metals are going to be for building stuff, base metals for building stuff, so on and so forth. This derelict over here is really, really interesting. Do we actually have a... Oh, we do. We have a shuttle over here. Okay, so we have options for right now and what we want to do. Taking an appraisal of what we have available, it looks like we've got a decent amount of food, but not a lot, but like a little. It looks like we have all the manufacturing stations right here that we're ultimately going to need. I see right here we've got a water recycler. Over on this side, we've got a power cap node. We've got a materials recycler over here. It looks like we have a refinery, so that's really, really good. It looks like we've got an assembler. Okay, so we can make hull blocks out of what looks like steel plates. And if we wanted to make those right there, yeah, let's go ahead and we'll make those continuously. It looks like we're going to need some base metals, and it looks like we're going to need some carbon, but that's okay. The recycler is going to allow us to get some of these blocks out of other things. So it takes like the pieces of that old spaceship over there and turns them into good stuff. So we'll put this on continuous for just about everything. I know this is a little overwhelming for right now, but trust me, we've got like all the things that we need. This appears to be our... Oh, it's a grow bed area. Very cool. So it looks like we can grow vegetables. Yeah, I would suggest growing vegetables over here. I would suggest growing fruits over here just so we've got that rocking. And then I would suggest growing nuts and seeds on this side too, although I don't know exactly how many seeds I have available right now. We have biomatter, we have fertilizer. I don't see seeds on in here. Okay, so the nuts and seeds are going to be a shared combined thing right there. I assume that these over here, so it needs water and it needs a little bit of fertilizer. So fertilizer is going to be our main issue on this side. Okay, we'll just make sure something's growing over there. That's fine by me. As long as something is growing, I am a happy camper. Now, what we need to do is we need to search this derelict. That's going to be like our first major thing that we need to do. This guy is apparently suicidal. Okay, that's no bueno. Hopefully he doesn't act on that. That would be deeply upsetting. They're taking off their spacesuits. We're going to draft this dude right here. Now that he's been drafted, we need to find our way to our storage area. What's inside of our storage area here? Let's take a look. Where are our guns and our equipment and things at? So it looks like our guns and equipment are going to be down in that area. So let's go ahead and grab Gunner, who actually, he's named Gunner, and that's exactly what we're going to use him for. We're going to throw the shotgun on him because we're going to go explore this space station over here. I'd like to see what we have available before we get going at like a real good clip. I'd like to grab some stuff, some things. Before we jump on out of the system and start building our ship. You go ahead and take the shotgun as your primary. Sounds good. And then what I would like for you to do is I would like for you to load on into our little pod over here. So he's going to go jump on into the pod. The other thing that I'd like to get started is while we're in the neighborhood, let's get this thing working. So I'd like to have kind of like a a longish section right there that's going to be the central fuselage. That looks pretty good to me right there. I think that works. We can also round it out a little bit if we wanted to, which I think sounds like a pretty cool idea. Yeah, let's round it out and make it look a little bit more like a spaceship. And then on this front end right here, this is going to be our bridge. So we'll get that started off. We'll make the bridge a little bit longer. And then we'll kind of just take that up right there. We'll have it taper a little bit. And now that it's tapered, we'll have that go up like... Oh, actually, we need that to be... Oh, no, dude. What has happened? Okay. All right. We're still good. I was just trying to make sure. We'll go ahead and just have that go up like so. So that we have room for kind of the comms console and everything else. We may actually have to, like, hammerhead this out a little bit. Yeah, let's hammerhead it out a little bit. So we'll have this go... kind of like, I keep right-clicking, and I really need to stop right-clicking. We'll have this go over to here, and we'll have it hammerhead a little bit. Just like, yeah, like a little 5x4 right there. That looks about right to me. Cool. So there's the beginnings of our ship. That's going to be the bridge right there, obviously. This is going to be kind of like the central tummy lock region of the ship. It actually makes me think that I probably don't need the tapers right here, too, style-wise. We could probably just keep it sort of like... ugly. There we go. That looks okay to me. I think that works. And then we'll decide what we want to do with the rest of this. I think I'm going to round this out as time goes along just to make it look a little bit nicer. But that's the start. So we'll turn things back on. We'll have everything on medium. Is he loaded up inside the pod so far? No, he's not. Okay. So let's go, actually, first things first. Let's go spacesuit on. There we go. Spacesuit is on. We'll load you on into the pod. This vehicle right here has already been drafted, so we're going to give it a dock order, and we want it to dock over here. And so we'll accept that destination, and as he cruises on over there, what you'll see is that he flies on out of this main central base right here, and he's going to get started. I want him to explore this ship because I think this is going to be a really good resource for us to get scrap from and, like, things to build our ship with. Like, obviously we can mine and refine, and that'll be perfectly fine, but, you know, it's not that important for right now. All right, so Gunner is inside this thing. Let's have him start going through the ship. There's space bugs right there. Okay, he's wiped out a couple of them with his shotgun, but he is wounded right now. So he's got himself a bleed. I need a medical bed. I am bleeding. Okay, well, he had a real short trip. We're going to have to load him back on here. And then we're going to take this and we're going to send it on back to our central hub because we don't really have an option. So we'll go ahead and throw him over to there. He's bleeding out right now, so we really need him to be seen by a doctor. I wasn't planning on having a wound so early, but, you know, when you're corridor fighting, it can get a little bit ugly and grubby, let me tell you what. The other guys, you can see they go out in these little pods, kind of like, I don't know what these pods are designed after, but they really they remind me of the pods that are from... Guardians of the Galaxy. That's what it reminds me of, those little mining pods in the first movie that they're fighting all of the bad guys' minions with, and, like, they don't have any weapons, so they're just ramming straight through. Basically, we have industrial pods, and we have, like, our actual shuttle that moves us around. Your new ship needs an airlock. Yeah, we'll work on that. I know what goes into an airlock. Yeah, let's maybe not do that. I know what goes into a ship. I've played enough. So over here, he's laying down inside of a medical bed right now. Hopefully, he will get medical attention shortly. It looks like many of our people are out and about, so he's in a medical bed and he's sleeping it off. That's okay. We'll send him back out on another away mission once we're all good and ready to go. And as you can see, the fundamental pieces of our initial machine are getting started. And we'll decide where we want to put everything because we're going to need thrusters, dude. We're going to need warp drives. We're going to need all the stuff that's inside of our mining base right now. We're going to need all of that stuff encapsulated inside of our ship. So we're going to need, like, a cargo bay. We're going to need an operations center. We're going to need a bridge. We're going to need windows. We're going to need lights. Oxygen generators. We are legitimately building this thing from the ground up, and it's going to be like a long process. This is not going to happen quickly, but it is going to be cool as hell when it's done. And since we've never gotten to do this scenario before, I figure we just put them on that job right there, and then we go ahead and we go work on other things. Gunner's still a little bit grumpy over here. No, he's not. He's fine, dude. Gunner's ready for another away mission. How tired is he? He's been sleeping for like a day, so we'll go ahead and throw him on in here. Gunner? Oh, Gunner's over here helping out with the construction. Okay. Well, come back to base, please. There you go. Land that pod. Nope. Stop doing the thing that you're doing. Return home immediately. Yes, there you are. Well done, Gunner. I draft you, and now I need you to put on your spacesuit, and I need you to load up inside this ship right here, and then I need you to go back to the derelict, because everybody else is going to work on that. Don't worry about it, dude. You have a responsibility. I need you to come over here and fight some big bad space bugs. And until you do that, I just, I can't do anything else. So Gunner is off board again. Hopefully he doesn't end up with another bleed. Let's put this on normal speed for a second so it doesn't get too far out of control. Okay, so we've got an empty space over here. The good news is when you're in the vacuum, these guys can fly. So in order to keep him safe from the bugs, I can legit plant him right here, and he can just sit and shoot the bugs from an area where they cannot access him. They're not capable of jumping, nor will they jump into the void while putting themselves at risk. And so we can actually speed this up a little bit. Yeah, kill them bugs, bro. Kill them bugs. Vaporize them. I love the little blood chunks and the textures that it adds to the ship after you get them all. All right, where's this other bug at? There he is. Take him out. All right, so let's have a look around the rest of the ship. We have to check every single room before it's been swept and cleared. Keep a special eye on your character's oxygen right here. If it runs out, he dies. You don't want that. That's really, really bad this early on. We really can't deal with having brain drain this early. Okay, that room's clear. Now we've just got like this big room right here, and I'm scared. Okay, well, he got him. And the Aphelion has been searched. So I'm going to undraft him. I'm going to allow him to go back to the ship if he wants to. He should not have a job right now. Like, he should, when he needs to, he should just jump back into the pod and, like, go back to base to work on other tasks. Now that we have this place swept and cleared, we need to set it up for salvage. How we do that is we get this little salvage notification. So you really need to tag everything that you want them to salvage out of this place. We have soft scrap that's used for construction, infra scrap, and tech scrap are kind of electronics. Energy scrap is used for other things. Hull scrap is obviously used for hull. So we can basically tell them to tear this thing apart if we want to. But I'd like to get our ship construction done first before I dive on into that. So he should... Oh, the ship is drafted. There we go. If you get anybody into a ship who's drafted, it automatically drafts the ship. That's why he wasn't taking the ship back. Now he's going to take the ship back. But we're in really, really good shape. This starting base is pretty rad, dude. It's a pretty sweet-ass base. Like, they give you pretty much everything you need to get started. Over here, we're already working on stuff. Do I have water available? Like, how much water do we have? We have 26 water over here. I may need to go mine some ice just to get that moving. 26 water will last for a little bit. He should jump into the med bed. Oh, no, because he doesn't have a bleed. He's not going to. They're all drinking their coffee. So at some point, after they drink the coffee and everything, they're going to have to take a poop, too. Like, you pretty much have to take care of everybody's needs in this game the exact same way that you would take care of people's needs, like in RimWorld. The only difference is, like, I think defecation. I'm excited to set up this ship, so I'm going to let them continue working on the fuselage, and we'll come back once we're ready to start putting some modules in, yeah? All right, so it's all come together. There's our boy right there. The NCS Tomboy coming together. The entire fuselage is up now. I'll decide what I want to do with this and, like, how I want to, like, decorate this and, like, set it up. I think we are going to have to sort of, like, make the ship a little bit wider on each side. I don't think we have enough floor space to really get this done. I think we can probably expand it by like 3 in both directions because we're going to need overhang. If we don't have overhang, we're not going to be able to get the warp drives on. The warp drives are freaking huge. I'll go ahead and show you how big they are. They are quite large. And so there's one of our warp drives right there, our Hyperium hyperdrive. And so it's pretty big. And also, you see that space behind it with the gray squares? That area has to be clear. If there's anything built inside that back area right there, you're going to get yourself into trouble. You're going to have issues. And so anyways, we need this to be like clear of the sides as well because we're still going to be putting in, we got to put in hangar docks. We've got to put in, you know, a lot of stuff. Like, there's a lot of things we got to get going here. So I'll probably expand this out a little bit further, but let's do some salvaging first. I think that salvaging is a really, really good option to get our hands on some of the things that we want. So there's a bunch of stuff already on here. There's some meals. There's some fuel. There's a couple of things. Meds. I'll take them all. And they should start sending little expeditions out here to grab it. In addition to that, you can set up what you want them to tear apart from the ship. I'm going to start out, what I like to do so that they don't get a little bit too crazy, is I have them tear out all the interiors first before they start working on the hull. It's just kind of easier that way. I've never really had anything go super wrong, but as of right now, there are pathways that allow them to kind of get around and scrap everything. And so what you'll see is they'll come on out here with a salvage crew, basically, and they'll start tearing down all the consoles, all the doors. They'll start tearing down all of the power. They'll start tearing down pretty much every placeable object inside this thing. Once we've got that done, we're going to strip the entire thing of its hull to get ourselves some more hull blocks. That way we can kind of avoid mining and like stay away from it. Once we've got that done, we are going to have to mine some water. I would probably suggest that we get some Energium on board too, and maybe some Hyperium on board. Don't worry that the ship left. They can still get oxygen from this little guy right here. This thing still generates oxygen even though it's unpowered. It's got like a limited supply basically, so they're not going to like die or anything by being out here. Somebody had an accident, so that's going to make them a little bit more grumpy, but they are leveling up their skills right now, which a lot of the time is pretty much all that you can look for. They should load up the ship, and what we should see is when they come back over here and they land this right here, you'll see they make piles of stuff right next to the dock. Why they don't go inside there and dock there, I'm not really entirely too sure. It's one of those things that I've never really gotten to the bottom of. Ooh, there's damage to our kitchen? Yeah, go ahead and repair it. Okay, so I think they've got pretty much everything tore down over here. So now we want them to sort of start disassembling the hull. So let's go ahead and salvage that. We'll add the hull scraps right here. They've gotten everything out, so there's no reason not to. You'll see them go out on a little away mission right here. I love how it transitions in between kind of this pixel art map and then also sort of like a generalized over map. That's really, really cool. And every single piece of this ship is going to get turned into blocks that we're going to use to keep on building over here because we're getting low on hull blocks. And we have lots of other blocks, but we don't have hull blocks. So the hull blocks are used for the hull. The infra blocks right here are used for infrastructure, like walls and shit like that. The tech block right here, that's going to be used for technology, obviously. And then the energy block is going to be used for power building assemblies. Okay, so they've more or less got it stripped down. It's ready to go. Nothing else here is going to be really too salvageable, I don't think. Like, I think this thing is pretty much done, except for dead monster bodies, which for some reason, I don't care about the dead monster body. You can leave that over there. That's kind of gross. I don't think we need that to be added to our inventory. So, that right there. Okay, so taking a look at what we've got right now. From all the stuff they brought back, we actually didn't manufacture that many hull. So we only got like 6 or 7 hull out, so I'm thinking we're going to have to go do some carbon mining and things. Where's this carbon field at? Alright, so let's set them up to mine the carbon over here. Let's go ahead and get all the carbon we can. There's only a little bit of water over there too, which kind of worries me. We'll go over here and we're going to mine up all these base metals, I think, too. Yeah, let's go ahead and grab all the base metals from over there. And then I would suggest we grab all of that, and then all of the warp fuel and all of the water as well. So that's going to be a long task, but what you'll see, and actually this is kind of cool, hopefully they go back out. They are indeed going back out? Are they? Okay, they weren't going back out, but in a second what you'll see is that they're going to go back out and take care of business. Okay, they're going back out now so that you can see this for yourself, which is kind of cool. They're going to take these little industrial vehicles out, and then they're just going to laser fight the rock over here, which is like, what more could you ask for from a space game? You know what I mean? You got to go laser fight something. So there's that right there. We're getting a little bit of this stuff put together. I'm going to tell them to manufacture a few more hull modules, if at all possible. I think we're good on most of the stuff. Yeah, I think we're solid on most of these things, but look how, like, delightfully animated the game is. I do think that they could have a little bit higher res on some of these little sprites right here for when you zoom in on them. They look great from right here, and they look a little bit oversaturated from right there, but right here they start to block out a little bit. I definitely think you get a higher res one because I'm like the kind of person that likes to zoom in on the action and kind of see what's going on when my people are doing stuff. But yeah, cool things, man. Lots and lots of cool stuff in here. Let's go back while they're all dealing with that, and let's see if we can manufacture a few more hull blocks around here. So they're making steel plates, hopefully. And then from the steel plates, we should be able to make some hull blocks. So we'll go ahead and we'll tell them to make, like, I think 10 more hull blocks will probably be good enough. Yeah, there we go. There goes our manufacturing. Perfect. And I love how they go up to the little consoles and they actually work on stuff too. Like, and they produce little boxes that come out on conveyors. They don't just like magically appear. Like, the box is actually inside the machine that opens up and then it like poops out the box. Like, there's so many little careful attention to detail things with this game that I feel like I personally am much more likely to just sort of like give it a pass on the stuff that I don't like. Such as, like, for example, these wall mounted lamps right here. If you mount anything on the wall, it seems to imply, like, you see these lanterns right here? We can put these lamps on the walls once we start building our ship, but these little lamps, you can't put anything underneath them. I'm assuming it's an engine limitation maybe, but like, to me, the entire point of having a high wall-mounted corner lamp is so that you can put stuff underneath it. And so, like, for the sake of organization, I tend not to do that anymore. I just tend to use the freestanding ones. But let's see here. Hopefully they'll get that fixed at some point. I wanted to take this out by like 3 on each side. We'll go with 4 just to be safe. That'll give us a little bit more wiggle room. And then I'd like to have kind of like a mounting area for the engine. And I don't know how big it's going to have to be. It's probably going to have to be like that big right there, like a 6x8 maybe. I'm kind of wondering if I could sneak by with a 6x7. I do wish that I had a ruler. That's got to go up by 1 more, I think. There we go. And so that's where our little engines are going to go, and then we've got plenty more floor space over here. Looks good to me. We'll get the construction rocking. Okay, so it looks fairly well like the hull is put together to me and ready to rock. Let's go ahead and get started. We've got to get this thing built. I mean, we're running low on water. We're not low on water. We're not low on food. But we're at the point right now where we're gonna be if we don't like get on top of it. So anyways, I will probably put the airlock at the booty hole of the ship. I feel like that's probably the best place to start. So there's our airlock right there. If I could get that centered, that would be like my favorite thing. I mean, I guess I could go with an airlock. It's not gonna fit right there. I was hoping that it might, but you got to keep it kind of clear. Okay, that's fine. We'll put the airlock right there. That's how we're going to get on into the ship. And then the other stuff that we're going to need is like hangars, things of that nature. Do we have hull blocks still? We got 6 hull blocks left. Not great, not great. Wish we had more hull blocks. That would make this simpler, but it's okay. Most of the stuff that we're going to put inside of here, we're going to move over from this place anyways, so it should be okay. Okay, so there it is. We've got our little airlock attached. It's a little off-center. That's kind of a bummer. I like things to be like smooth and nice. But the booty hole of the ship has been assembled, my dudes. So it looks like we're pretty much out of like most of our things over here. Okay. Well, we're going to have to figure that out. I think I can relocate one of these shuttles. Okay, so I'm not crazy sure what they're relocating over to here. They keep coming back and forth, which is kind of a problem, because I need to get these hangars disassembled for extra hull blocks. That's what I really, really need. Let's go back to the Antilla. We got 5 blocks over here. Okay, well, I'm going to get started on going with what it wants me to do, but I'm actually kind of, like, shocked by the fact that I can't, like... Yeah, you just go inside that hangar over there. I'm actually kind of shocked by the fact that I can't disassemble anything over here. I was going to start disassembling these pieces, but I'm not allowed to. So anyways, I was going to disassemble things, but I guess the game doesn't like that. We got to put a storage over here. I'm going to go in the exact order that the game asks for just to avoid any weird things coming up. But our lack of hull blocks right now actually kind of like concerns me. Because I was relying on the fact that I was going to be able to relocate most of this stuff over to that other ship. Like, I was just going to transplant this, like... you've got the dismantle button right here on a lot of these, or like, for example, on these guys right here, there's a move button. I was going to transfer things over, but I guess I'm not allowed to do that, so that may actually be a big problem. We may end up actually cannibalizing some pieces of the ship in order to get it functioning, but we can safely lose the hammerhead. We can safely lose kind of the little side parts as well, and I think we'll have enough room to get started. It obviously won't look aesthetically amazing, but kind of is what it is. Let's go ahead and we got to build our tools facility. So there's our tools facility right there. We'll put this right next to storage so that craft times are faster. After the tools facility, I'm willing to bet it's probably going to ask me to put in an Energium power node at some point. I haven't exactly decided where I want the Energium power node to be at. It'll probably be like right there towards the center. Probably make things a little easier, but hey, we'll get the tools facility started on up. The tools facility is going to manufacture these tools right here, and the tools are used for pretty much like every activity. And there they go. They're dropping it off right now. Elspeth, can you do the thing for me, please? All right, so we've got that matched out. It's probably going to ask for power next, would be my assumption, but who knows? Yeah, there it is, power generator. Did I know or did I know? We'll go ahead, and I'm going to centralize this thing to make it cleaner. Well, do I need to? I mean, technically, I could, like, smack it over here in the corner. I don't really know where I want to put it. We'll just smack it right there for right now. I'll run power nodes wherever I need it to go. So basically, we're going to have to run the wiring throughout this place to make sure that everything is, like, on top of the grid and ready to rock. The game does have a bi-directional current system where you can send things and receive current from different directions. So you can decide which way you want the current to be flowing, if you want it to be omnidirectional, if you want it to be monodirectional, or unidirectional. I don't know how you would say that, but anyways. I'm not an electrician. Never have been. Energy grid is up and ready to rock, so they've already got it stocked. What I would recommend is that you only let this thing link up to other energy nodes. There's a limited number of links you can assign to any given thing. And so, like, taking this and linking it directly to tool stations and stuff tends to not be the best use of your infrastructure. So anyways, what I would recommend doing is we should take a power node and probably put it right about there, would be my thinking. We'll put the power node right there, and then we'll decide what we want to do with everything else pretty soon. We need to get an oxygen generator and a gas scrubber inside of here. Otherwise, this is just functionally not going to work. We got to basically get this thing pressurized and get all the CO2 scrubbed and everything else. By doing that, we go to life support over here. We're also going to have to go ahead and we're going to have to get the thermal temperatures regulated as well. So for the gas scrubber and whatnot, I feel like the easiest way to do this is how big is the oxygen generator? So if we can fit the oxygen generator right there, that'll take a little bit of stress off. So there's our oxygen generator. We also need the oxygen scrubber. And so my thinking is we'll kind of just have all of our life support centralized back here in this area. And then we'll just hope we never take like a fusion blast or anything to the side of the fuselage right there, because that will be our undoing. We need to link up the power right here. Boink, we've linked up the power. Good to go. So this is now providing power to everything inside of its AoE of access. That'll basically get us powered on this side. We can also embed these in the floor. We can embed them in the wall. But like I said, when you put things in the floor and the wall, you still can't build over the top of them or next to them, and so I don't really see the point. So we've got that done. That's all ready to rock. We don't have enough water to generate oxygen inside of here. They'll do it at some point, but thermal regulators are going to be the next thing that the game is really upset that we haven't built yet. And so where I would start is I would put a wall-mounted thermal regulator, just kind of like, oh, it's minus 74°C in there. Foof! Yeah, it's pretty cold. We're going to need to sprinkle these around, in all honesty. These are going to need to be kind of like all over the place because of the size of our ship. We'll go ahead and put a wall thermal regulator in right there. And we'll get that started on off. We're going to have to link that up to the power right here. We're probably going to need some more power regulators too. We've got an in-floor regulator right there. I think we should be able to get all of our basics set up if we put it right there. So this is going to relay power once again, so we can link this guy up to this guy, and then we'll have half the ship covered in power. Make no mistake, we're not going to be able to get the entire ship done, like right this second. It's just not going to work out like that. But we can get a pretty good start going. We're kind of running low on time, too. This is a really, really cool game. I have a few minor kind of layout complaints about it, mostly with wall-mounted objects, and then obviously, like, all the content is not in yet. The developers are still working on this. But if you're looking for a game that's basically RimWorld in space, where you're flying your own ship, and you've got to supply it and find the things you need by mining and moving around, and then deal with events and plagues and, you know, other ships and communicating and, like, diplomacy and stuff like that, this is definitely a game to keep an eye on. It's called Space Haven. And in all honesty, it's a pretty cool title. Like, I dig it. Is that not counted as inside of there? Can I get that linked? Ew. Well, maybe we'll be able to get it from right there. Okay, so the thermal regulator is in. I had to move it. Can you imagine such a terrible thing? The inconvenience. I am embroiled with pain. So we had to move this on over to here. Power regulator's now working on this side. Haven't decided exactly where I'm going to put everything just yet. They want me to build lights inside of here. I don't know why. I don't really want to build a light, but I mean, if the game desires it to be so, I suppose that I shall. I'd like to, like, wall mount it, but, like, I don't think that's going to be an option for right now. We'll just put in one lamp right there to kind of make the game shut up. But yeah, Space Haven. I definitely recommend you check it out. Even if you're not going to purchase it, I think this game shows a lot of promise, and it puts, like, a really cool spin kind of on the RimWorld formula, where instead of having, like, a set colony, you know, you're mobile, you're moving around, you're building your ship, and then you're getting your hyperdrive all slapped in, you're flying to new systems, you're finding new and interesting things. This is very much like the first 5% of the game, where you're like building your ship and getting ready to rock. But like there's more here, and as it develops, the developers have a really, really good roadmap that they keep public that you can take a look at like any given time that you want to. And so, you know, that's something also to keep an... Is this like... Why is this not powered right here? It should be on the power grid. It should definitely be on the power grid. I don't feel great about that. Well, anyways, they want me to build, like, a crew quarters area, which, like, I'm fine with. I don't know what the temperature's looking like right now. Cannot reach target temperature. It is currently minus 83, so yeah, we're definitely going to have to get some more thermal regulators inside of here, too. But I expected that. This is a pretty big ship with a lot of stuff going on. And so I think if we get a few more thermal regulators around, we'll be in good shape. But yeah, Space Haven, check it on out. I almost guarantee that if you enjoy RimWorld, you'll think this game is pretty cool. There's kind of like, you know, they're still working on getting all the content, all the mechanics in, but progress has been pretty good, and the developers are really good about kind of like communicating and talking and being like, hey, this is what we're working on. This is what's going on right now. And so anyways, definitely a project to keep an eye on. My name is Splattercat. I sift through the pile to find what's worthwhile in the world of indie games every single day so that you don't have to. Today up on the chopping block, it was Space Haven. Tomorrow, it will very likely be something new. I'll see y'all later. Thank you for stopping on in. That's all I got for you for right now. Goodbye, everybody.